You're looking at the two teams that have lifted trophies, but Gen G have gone from success to success, while Sentinels had that Super Bowl hangover that we often see from very good teams. I will say, though, when it specifically comes to Haven, paper thin, talking about it on the desk, that A lobby control was so important for the one game that Gen G did end up dropping on this map. I think that's where the Breach Sovacom is significantly better.
You can see that A control given up, but nobody watching onto the high ground angle. Texture backing away, still flashed up. Won't be able to get too much done here. And Gen G not able to flood defense in time. Smokes up. Might be looking for a bit of a contact play, but a call for the pause is made by Sen. They're just going to wait this one out for the util. Still holding it down. Go spam it away. Still adjustment from Sassy. It's good. Leaves it just down to Meteor. 1v3 here for our pistol. Can he do it? First obstacle removed. Plenty more where that came from, though. Revealed up just in the last few minutes. Reloads off. Turret up. Catches one of the contacts, but Sentinels not willing to give them too much of a fight here. Sassy's so wide out into the open. 14 HP. Turret still up. TenZ has to break this one. A single shot will do it. Meteor delivers it.
Well, there's a reason that this guy was the MVP for Shanghai. What a way to start things out. I was all ready to sell how well Sentinels had played that A exec. The early control, the hit into sight. Gen G rattled, unable to get that flood retake working. And what did we just witness? The Red Bull clutch comes through in a spot that it should never. Yeah. I think we've got to start there. This is a situation where he should get traded every single time.
Gotta agree with that.
And the home crowd roars.
That's a 1v3, and Gen G to continue that kind of dominance with the pistol round, starting it up. Conversion to the bonuses. Josh, you were chewing my ear about it. Yeah. Off in the green room, you know, talking about how good this Gen G team is when it comes to just being able to get those early advantages.
Yeah, if you want to let me nerd out for a moment there, Gen G are third best team when it comes to pistols at Champions, but they're amazing at converting bonuses. So assuming that they win this round, which Meteor is under quite a bit of pressure here.
Quite a lot, actually, overwhelming. Damage is being done to them, but it's been flooded in.
And should be all good.
And it should be, yeah. Sealed up here. Spikes drop down. Zeltis, not much chances for him. He might go around the world to farm up some orbs, but...
And so, look, Meteor is going to have enough to buy up a rifle in the next round. They've got two Guardians, Bulldog rifle. They're the first... The number one team at Champions in terms of converting these bonus rounds. In round 3, round 15, where you've won the pistol and the follow-up. And I think part of that is because they take them so seriously. They have such incredible aimers. If they have a Guardian or a Sheriff in their hands, first bullet accuracy on almost all of these guys on Gen G is remarkably good. Love seeing that flash there.
A little bit of an Easter egg, I think, of things to come.
30 seconds left.
I think he's just looking to give away his body at the final moment. I mean, he has nothing really to play for, apart from that extra ult point that he could try to get online. And to be honest, he's not too far away from getting it early on in this map.
Yeah, spotted out and finally cleaned up here. So, inevitable here, but now we can start to look forward to this bonus round. Gen G usually cooking with it.
More of that?
They are, and I'll tell you what, I've been watching a lot of both, well, I've been watching a lot of Gen G on Haven. I've watched all of Sentinels Haven, but they haven't played it very much. So that's an interesting dynamic, isn't it? Because Sen are going to read into what they've seen from the VODs from Gen G. And one of the interesting things is Viper Orb, always going towards C long instead of A. That's an interesting quirk of how Gen G play this. And they have two different Viper walls. This one, the most standard, which is going to throw towards A. And then he has an aggressive one for A lobby, which I thought they might pull out. But here on the bonus, looking to try to punish anybody that takes a peek mid.
Bit of spam damage just laid down into the wall here. A lot of presence showcased here by Gen G. Texture's going walkabouts. Wants to make a go of things.
No cam tap.
Yep, no cam, no turret to catch that contact. Now the dash is active. They missed the timing. Right behind, no, still. It's a bullet straight to the back. Now, potentially an opening for Sentinels. We'll attempt to slow this one down. They want to try and get rid of most of this util. There's a bolt line to try and follow through Zekken. Got a lot in his face here still. Nothing to really shut them down. Meteor dodging the flash, up and away! Looking snappy and magnetic into the moment. Still a TP forward. Sentinels not to be disallowed this, but pushing through the one way. It is chaos incarnate. Down to that 1v2. Munchkin. Upgrade in hand. Now he's going to make the most of this one here. Sentinels cannot afford to throw away these player advantage situations. Not like how the pistol round got started for them. Dart is good. Spots out Munchkin now, but he's got a lot more to do. Molly at the feet, Sassy. Push back and away and wide. Bit of spam and straight bullets away. Gets the reload off, but there's only 6 left to him. He's got to do so much with it. Not able to, not against Sentinels there. In this instance, the discipline finally reigning supreme.
So there we go. Gen.G unable to convert the bonus this time around. Still off to a decent start with some good damage done. That's going to knock the Sentinels' economy slightly. But I think more important than that, as we look towards the rest of this half, is how the map control game plays out. You can't really run big C execs against Gen.G. That's the power of the Viper Orb at the top there that they run. But it does make their A-holds weaker, I think. And the way that DRX was able to beat them on this map just recently in Pacific was by taking A-long control very consistently. You've always got John there with the cam to make sure if Gen.G push down mid, it's covered. I think in rounds like this, giving Gen.G full A lobby control seems like a bit of a map control mistake to me from the side of Sentinels. But maybe they've got something very different in mind. It looks like they're setting up for another one of these garage splits.
At least just preemptively trying to get rid of some of the Killjoy util. Turrets up, trying to spam one of the more common locations, but they don't actually know where it is. It's been shifted and moved along, so none of those bullets will be landing. Drone up through C. Makes it feel like there is some presence and pressure being pushed up into it, but a lot of players just now sitting outside. Through B, wall up in their face again, creating difficulties.
And if they do decide to pop B here, Munchkin's going to be there fairly early with a snake bite. They're trying to go back towards garage.
Texture. He's trying to play an off angle to get ahead of this util that they might use to clear this, and he is ahead of the full line! 2 removed! Drop just like that, pushing through though. John QT, quick to equalize. It's a 3v3. Into the moment still with 40 seconds left, there is room to breathe. Bit of a pause is called, Cage falls. Alongside the wall, Munchkin was not ready for that. Ferrari Peak in action here.
30 seconds left.
Tap, hoping that the rest of these players are going to come swinging out of the open, and it leaves it once more down to Meteor. 1v3. A miracle round for him on the pistol round that he did convert, but this one is a little bit more, at least tougher to chew through, isn't it? Contact's caught by John, and he will deliver them the round.
2 huge kills there from Sentinels. One from John, the other from Zekken, both in B main. And I think those are the 2 that really turned that in favor of Sen. After Texture got a double kill, most of the time I think that should be Raps.
Yeah.
And yet, really strong, quick aim coming out from John Cutie and Zekken to be able to pick off players on Gen.G. Both Karen and Munchkin falling in those spots. It just opens up the whole site for them. Gen.G are going to have to respect that. If Sentinels are shooting and they've got a firepower advantage early on in this game, well, a lot of things are going to change.
That's knocked Gen.G down to that weak goodbye. It's a good time to talk about, you know, the overall feelings heading into this match, because a lot of people would, I think, pen Gen.G as the heavy favorites. That's understandable considering Sentinels were slacking a little bit towards the end of stage 2. Ended up falling off a little bit, of course. Texture with the knives in his hands with the Blade Storm might be able to return at least some of it, but tagged up by the drone. You got to respect that. Backing away. It's a bait and switch, though. Got to make the most of it. Meteor's back in there, too. Orb in their face. Not thinking about it, but as it's dropped, Meteor is just out in the open. And this slow, cautious tail that's really being told by Sen across the map. It's working dividends.
It is, but because they didn't take a long control early on in the round, and they don't have drone, it's going to be tough for them to end A here. So their choices are between B and C, and that's mostly where the Gen.G defense is. There are still opportunities for this to go wrong for Sentinels. They've got time on the clock. I'm not sure that John's going to be able to re-explore this entire area confidently. He's going to give it a go, though.
There's a stack of players at Gen.G, at least.
I mean,
waiting for
what's the chances you run into the bucket
yeah,
here?
I mean, John should just be going down every day of the week, and so he does. An upgrade offered up, handled to them. Fault line into the corner as well, but you want to go into this one with a rolling thunder. It is committed, still as an orb and a snakebite in your face. Aftershock, narrowly avoided. Flick of the wrist, dodges the flash. Still, the reinforcements are here. This is the danger zone for Sentinels. You're walking straight into the maw, and it's only firepower. They're going to be able to bail yourself out. Texture can only do so much with that Sheriff in hand, and the plan has to be stuck down. Bullet spraying and praying away, but TenZ ready to lock it all down.
Recovered there towards the end for Sentinels. But I'm really not liking the way that they're setting themselves up in some of these situations. Because they're not taking A control early on, they limit themselves so drastically in the late round.
Yeah.
Yes, they're able to barrel their way through there. And yes, it doesn't matter too much that John goes down to the Bucky in short, but that got close and it had no reason to necessarily. They just found themselves stuck.
The importance of that A lobby control, though, that you were hammering home is going to be all the more here. Texture's got the operator in his hands, and I think this is being tracked by Sentinels. Now, got a sight set towards it. It's a drone. Texture's ahead of this, though, to fall, and he misses the flick. And there's a dash into his face. How the hell do you avoid this? You don't! It's all supplemented. TP up into heaven. TenZ is there for the backstab just in case, but Sassy was the one to clean it all up. And now, you're just looking at a save.
That's so lovely. I mean, that's a wonderful play over towards Hay there. Adding the Soverall into the back of it, too. Texture had an opportunity, but it was a tough flick to be able to get onto Zek, and he does the reverse peek, crossing over the bricks early. He is often good for those. His aim's pretty spectacular with the op, but this time, Sen come out on top, and Zeken's got that killer instinct just to rush him down early.
Yeah, they are not scared, are they?
I was talking about how, you know, not fully convinced yet at the way that Sentinels are approaching the attack side, despite the fact that they've been good so far with rifles in hand. But if I'm looking at just the teamwork, coordination, their rifle aim, everything's looking very clean right now for Sen. And that A take inspired a lot of confidence in me. So far, it's Gen G firmly on the back foot here.
Yeah. Sentinels coming out swinging as well. Don't let that 4th seed in Americas fool you. What a finalized finish as well for them in Stage 2.
They had a 6-map win streak at the start of Stage 2. Yeah, it's something that I think people have forgotten because they went out ignominiously from playoffs. And they'd lost to G2 right before the playoffs as well. But they're still a competent team, and if you catch them on a good day, woe betide you.
Yeah. You think about this Sentinels team as well. It's all been leading up to this. The big moment here at Champions, the end of the year. They started their year in Korea with the Africa tournament, and now looking to potentially lift even a trophy, but maybe getting ahead of ourselves here. It's only day 1, and it's only the first match. TenZ punishing the peak there. At least they all pick up onto Munchkin. McCage up as well, covering the back of TenZ.
So this is that Viper Wall I was talking about. It's designed for A-long control, but they couldn't control the TenZ teleports. Very cool anti there, I think, based on where they saw the Viper Wall.
Caron, he wants to press forwards. He spots the barrel. He knows that there's a kill to be found. Will claim it. Double peak is up, and the trade in sight here for Sentinels. Seekers, considered by Lackey, are now offloaded here just for that extra information, but Sentinels are still working with about a minute on the clock here. They can afford to just slow it all the way down, but Meteor, again, the risks have to be taken. He's the one pushed past and forwards most of his util, and he needs to find a kill from it.
Surely he has a free one on TenZ.
Backs to it. He's watching the wrong angle, but yeah, TenZ unaware. That could potentially be crossed up here. Sentinel's going for that quick reaction now. Full speed ahead over towards the C site.
And without Munchkin alive, no Viper Orb, C becomes much easier to hit. But there's always going to be that lockdown coming from Garage. How do you... not Garage, coming from... Whoa. What is that kind of placement? Just to make sure that it doesn't get contested?
I mean, Sentinel's going to be pushed all the way up onto site here. They can't actually fall back into the long angle flash. Just about dodge here. Second has dropped. This is disjointed here by Sentinels. The aftershock has to get used now. Meteor wrapping behind. And a coordinated attempt. It works to full fruition. Gen G. Beautiful work.
What value from the lockdown as well.
Yeah.
I can't say that I've really seen too many people popping it down there to go for the C retake. I was also watching Texture's POV. He had to dodge 2 breach flashes and Lakia's flash as well. He's spinning his crosshair left and right just to try to keep his vision intact so that he can help on the retake. But that's the first one with rifles in hand that Gen G get on the board. And it wasn't looking great for them until Meteor made that play walking down mid. When you're in a player disadvantaged spot, sometimes you got to take risks like that.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, he's all over the place.
So now Texture with op in hand, going to be taking that peek towards B as Sentinels look to take some A lobby control.
Keep TP though. Lakia side by side. Him and Caron not ready for that one, are they? Zekken just catches one to the temple. Forced to back away. Texture's wondering which way to look.
You see that TenZ went for the same teleport again. So every time the Viper Wall's been in this spot, TenZ has tried to TP into this cubby. But this time, Munchkin wasn't just sat there in the open picking up an ult orb. They actually fought.
Scout destroyed.
Slow and steady. This time Gen G not needing to take too many risky plays, wandering forwards here. The pit is going to be dropped at the minute mark. This is lovely. Supplements the defense.
but it also stops you getting any further info. I say that, but actually Karen, having gone on top here, is still going to be able to get info down short. So it keeps 2 players A on the defense side, but I think Sen are going to struggle to get through that.
They really are.
What are your options now? You haven't gone garage, you haven't broken the Killjoy utility.
Well, Meteor, he's going to walkabouts here. Oh my, almost time for the peak there. Yeah, almost there with a punish still. Drone's going to be used to clear through into mid. Sentinels have only got 30 seconds to really work with into this one. Again with that player disadvantage. TenZ, TP up top and away. And he spotted these players completely unaware. GEN still lacking. He's got to get a handle onto most of this one. Caron pressing forward. Smokes watched for. GEN have toppled.
That is an amazing play from Sentinels. GEN always flood defend and try to pre-take over towards B. Zelsis tapped that knowing it was coming. I mean, he knew with 100% confidence that they were about to push through that smoke. Hard red. There's the advantage of having those VODs to watch from Pacific.
Yeah. Munchkin not interested in playing for this one as well. Just wants to keep the op into the next. It's a big tool they're going to be using for their defense rounds. Gives us time as well to talk about, the general feeling heading into this one. It was already kind of mentioned on the desk with the map pool stuff, with Haven being played. It's a map that we haven't seen much of Sentinels at all.
No.
And there's a reason that they picked it here today. They feel like there's weaknesses to exploit on GEN side. I would have to agree. When I was watching, it looked like one of the weaker maps for GEN, surprisingly. It was my overall hot take coming into the event that felt like their map pool wasn't quite as shored up as people were making out.
The weird thing about that, though, is I feel like we've seen Haven so little and from so few teams at an elite level that actually I still feel like GEN's Haven is up there, top 5, top 3 in the tournament.
From what we've seen, yeah.
Maybe I'll change my mind after watching more of other teams play, like Sentinels here. But, Sen had only played it once before this, into 100 Thieves, and they lost fairly convincingly.
And so it's hard to tell, right?
It's really tough to tell.
Size, yeah.
It's tough to tell who's good on Abyss, obviously, but also Haven at the moment. And I think, as we head deeper in this map pool, even more unknowns. The decider, if we got there, would be Abyss.
Oh, Abyss. I mean, I would love to see that map 3. Already into the round here. It's going to be quadruple face up in through mid. John QT stepping up late. Looking to send it straight through into the B side as well. A bit of spam into the smokes, aftershock as well. Nobody's going to be able to press their way forwards and past it. But TenZ does get dropped. That spam, I believe, coming out through the smoke. Trailblazer spotting it. Paranoia rolling front out for the back. Nobody's watching this 1 second. He's going to be dropped here, trying to fight for the side control. It's all over the place. Sentinels caught completely unaware, and a spray down transfer just does not connect. Everybody falls once more. This time, it's Sentinels drifting back to that spectator seat, and GEN maybe 1 step closer to making it equalized at the half.
And GEN 1 step ahead there too. Notice how Sentinels were spamming into the smokes, expecting GEN to be set up for that pre-take, for that flood defend. And instead GEN hold a little further back, not much, but just a little, in order to not die to that early spam and get a big retake off altogether. These minute differences in timings are messing with what Sentinels were expecting. And especially if you get a freebie like that early on. But look how unexpected that timing was for them to go through the smoke.
Yeah, the Rolling Thunder just to try and fight for one of the extremities down towards B. Just the slightest of timings that were off.
And that's how fast GEN adapt from one round to the next. It doesn't take them long.
There's a reason that they've made every single final so far this year. That's an accolade that not many teams at all can even claim. Munchkin trying to stop this one as well. Another B attempt and push in, spots the player, spamming away. Somebody's to cover this one down and below. Stunned up, matters not. Second, just walking straight into this one. Still Caron is out and away! Caron delivers it side by side, him and Lakia. They push back any aggressors. And the spike drop down into no man's land. There are no chances left for Sassy.
Another spot where you feel like a GEN player's caught dead to rights, being double swung essentially. And the leader in terms of any Rookie of the Year awards pulls it out again, a 2K. Just a slight wiggle of the movement too to shake off a few bullets.
Yeah.
Watching Caron is a delight.
This guy is so damn impressive, and he's even the one to finish it here. 5-5, being that scoreline. You are right, you're talking about that Rookie of the Year candidacy. I mean, there's not many that can really hold a candle to them. One of them is in this server with him.
Yeah. I mean, John would be probably second, maybe Woot, it depends what your argument would be, but they're both so far behind Karen they can't even see him in the race.
Yeah.
He's sprinted off into the distance, over the horizon. It would take one of those guys like John or Woot, winning champs, honestly, to overtake him for Rookie of the Year. Like you said, Gen G have been in every finals with a rookie player basically straight from ranked. That's insanely impressive.
Yeah, really never seen anything like it.
So 5-5, big recovery from Gen G. Yes, they got the pistol, but it looked like Sentinels were in control in these rifle rounds up until recently. Sen going for a few too many plants on B.
Again, looking towards Garage. Seems like it's a pretty key part of what they're going for. Looking for a bit of spam into the corners, just in case there is that one of them held. Up angle, Meteor's caught on the cross, though. Trying to wade his way past that one. That's a leg shot. John QT barely surviving Seekers. Pushing forwards. Lakia smelling that blood in the water. He definitely wanted to hunt that one out. So it's equalized 4 versus 4. And it causes that reaction now out of Sentinels. But they're going to be walking again. It's a Paranoia. It's an Anaswarm. It's an orb up in their face. Sentinels really don't have too many options here, but they're calling for the pause.
They have to go for the C-exec once the orb goes down, but this just becomes so obvious.
Yeah, and again, the players are meeting their match. It's Gen G happily able to just try and fight this one. Forwards, Hunter's Fury, though. That was the extra element needed. Lakia right from behind. Texture follows up with a shot, and still got to deal with these players. 2v2 now. 36 seconds left. Not enough with the offset of the movement. Lakia will be dropped. Texture 3 HP.
30 seconds left.
Looking this way, that way, head on a swivel, doesn't know which way to look. It's an impossibility almost at this point, but at least the spike isn't down. It's the one thing working for him, but the weaponry is not. Plant from Zelsis stuck, committed. Needs to be held out here.
Planted.
Weak players all around. It's all about this first shot that lands. Finally, needs a second one. Dash now active, doesn't know where he is, and it's wrapped all the way round! Texture! You absolute animal!
He's such an incredible player. Walking back into the backside of C, checking left and right on default, pulls out his shorty, thinking that he killed the healthy player, realizes he's wrong, still has time, even when he guesses the angle incorrectly first, to readjust. It's just unbelievable watching these guys play sometimes.
Individual game IQ, it's off the chart.
It really is. You know, we can see, we've got a mini-map.
Yeah.
He's operating fully in the dark in this spot, and he's got a perfect read on that timing. Munchkin can't even believe his eyes.
What a delivery. Straight up a gift for Gen G, but all from the hands of Texture, and still now look towards it. The final round here of our first half on Haven.
Gen G have got a 4-player stack on A. This is a hard read. All right, Sentinels have only been going A when they want to finish A. Yeah. I think that's another flaw a little bit with the way that they've been doing their attack side calling. They're not really taking A control and then pivoting off elsewhere. Maybe this round they will, and maybe that'll be how they convert round 12.
Trailblazer broken, doesn't get concrete information. Just being held here by Sentinels. John QT. And Zelsis looking to try and break some of this util up through Garage, maybe force and pull some of the rotations, but Gen G firmly stuck in the mud. They are not drifting away from this A anchoring spot with 4 players ready to receive.
I think if they break the turret, it will have to pull people off A.
That's what they're going to be trying to go for here. John QT with 40 seconds left. It's broken.
They didn't move a muscle.
Only just now, Munchkin, a TP at least, it's faked out.
The hardest of hard reads. Yeah, I mean, a Munchkin classic.
They think these rotations have occurred, but listen, Gen G, they put up all the barricades. They are ready to receive every single player. Full line over and through. Lakia inside the Cloudburst plays. Once inside of it, the wall up in their face. Sentinels cannot step past it. It's up to Sassy and more. With only 15 seconds to do it. Your options are pretty much entirely ran out. Up, grabbed and away. Fade away with a Blade Storm. It's a flourish to finish, man. And only a few seconds remain before Gen G take this lead from first half of Haven. No time on the clock to play with. 7-5 will be what we stare at.
Incredible end to the half there. The time ended up being...
Consistency is just unheard of, especially with how challenging this year has been. It's a very condensed schedule. Yep. Makes it difficult to just not feel the burnout over a certain amount of time here. But Gen G have been looking largely in charge here. The beginning here for our pistol round. It's all slow for now. Creeping and crawling up through mid, looking to see if they can get any of those early angles, just in case somebody's peeking for info on Sentinel's side. There's a trip in their face. Texture, it's going to be chewed up by that one. A couple of stray shots.
Yeah,
you flying it away. A tap as well for the reaction.
You can see there that Texture was intending to updraft onto the high ground inside that smoke. The trap stopped him. Cam sees a lot of this info, but it's only Zellsis home.
Yeah, peeking away. Just can't quite land the one shot that was necessary there. So Zellsis will push back that play that's occurring. The timing that's taken. Munchkin, oh, wide open. Right bit of taking. John QT's dropped.
So they tap B, fake C, walk in on A.
And it's an open site. Potentially a closed case, but still Sentinels, they do have that retake utility in their back pocket, just waiting for it to potentially come online. 17 seconds until the dart. Not too sure for the fault line. Dash still available. See if a Zekin in the back pocket. They're worried about these flanking players as well. Might find it difficult to get through, at least with this orb, but as soon as it goes down, you might see them take that timing. They are so concerned about these mid flanks.
Not ready yet.
And now the time to strike is here. Texture is way ahead of it, inside the smoke. Any sort of timings the Sentinels were looking to try and take, they've missed it already. Texture still, Sassy. That's 2. They need more than that. And no one from Gen G is willing to even give him it. Ice cold from them, a tap onto the spike, no one out into the open. He has to stick it for the only win con. Gen G. Almost inevitable that they claim once more another pistol round here.
And that pistol was remarkable. The fake onto B, tapping it after Texture had failed to get onto the high ground, trying to get simultaneous C lurks and A lurks working. I don't think either of them were designed as fakes. It's more just as see which one works, right? If the guy dies over towards C, probably the guy on A is going to be able to find a timing. And my God, what a timing Munchkin found. He also got in position to throw that orb deep towards CT. As soon as the orb goes down, Karen throws a smoke and Texture's inside of it. Every part of that worked beautifully.
Yeah.
The small details are hammered out so well by Gen G. They've had a lot of practice, a lot of matches to be played this year.
Not willing to throw away that advantage that they've got. Winning that pistol round. Taking it nice and slow, hoping that Sentinels will peek into them.
The cam from John QT was positioned a little further back in the previous round. It's going to be getting them good information on this side of the map.
Yeah, Trailblazer. Just a check in case there are trips there. Clears the way through most of the side. Not sure if it cleared Zekin off into the corner. They don't like what they saw. Gen G instead now moving over towards the B site. Flash overhead, no connection there. Karen will stick this one, and the gamble stack of Sentinels does not work out.
They got Viper Orb onto the plant. No Snakebite to work with, but double Nano Swarms as long as Meteor stays alive.
And everybody's looking all over the place here. Still Sassy's way ahead of the rest of his team, looking to try and trade this one. Oh, Lakia is right there behind him. All the avenues watched, and everybody falls once more. So Gen G, it's flawless on their anti-eco. Again, looking towards that bonus round. It's going to be more than healthy. Our kill leader of Texture looking just very much in control. 14-8.
Just took over from Sassy, who's having a remarkably good game out here on Haven, but not enough. Gen G failed the first bonus. Even the best teams in the world, by the way, are still winning less than 60% of their bonus rounds. So it is a difficult round to be able to convert. But Gen G with 2 bites at the apple here on this map and a chance to run away with Haven.
Wall up. It's difficult to get the timing here. Zellsis is holding this fault line, but all the players are already way ahead of him. Sassy.
Right here.
That doesn't even stop them contacting.
There's no way.
Can't believe they didn't give it away there.
There's no way. They don't even spam. They're just all the way up, and it's all for free here. Paranoia, Flash, it's all offloaded, concatenated, out and over the top as well. It's down to TenZ to hold it, locking it down. In through the back, the reset is magnanimous. This guy will not be stopped. He denies any attempt to take that A site.
Shadows traveling.
Gen G left scrambling. They should have had that. A dash into sight, an amazing flash from Zellsis to actually push them back just a moment. And TenZ recovers after immediately being blinded in the midst of that exec. He's left on the floor in a 2v4.
That's what Sentinels needed. They're holding this one steady, giving up most of the A sites. Rifles are swapped around, noise is being made. Plant not even pushed back here, so Karen will be able to get that extension into the round, and got a feel with Gen G. That's sometimes dangerous. You don't want to give them those options and opportunities. Oh, no. Caron inside the smoke, not being cleared out, dodging, weaving, TPing away, still being watched for Meteor. 1v2. Meteor cannot land it. The transfer almost intact, but eventually it's Sentinels who paved the way to a victory.
And thankfully for Sentinels, all of TenZ's hard work does not get discarded at the final hour. So they bring that gap down to 3. A little bit of damage done, not too bad for the Sen economy, but they're going to take a tactical timeout here.
It's the first one of the match.
Really beautiful play from TenZ, must be said. Second is struggling. I didn't even realize at this point, to be honest with you, because I felt like he was getting into sights fairly well. But he's 5 and 13.
Yeah, struggling quite a bit.
And Zeken's one of those players that, yeah, from a map-to-map basis, maybe you could argue he's slightly inconsistent. Only slightly. But to be honest, in every major tournament, he's always the highest performing player for Sen. And he's actually gone up in terms of his ACS all year. Just tournament on tournament, from kickoff to Madrid to stage 2, putting up better and better performances. So to see him at the bottom of the scoreboard right now, it's a little concerning. But if he wakes up, it could be the difference maker. I think that's something you've got to be taking a look at here, is whether Sen want to get an op into his hands, and whether they can from an economy perspective too. He's been buying the Outlaw in the last few rounds here, but he hasn't quite been where Gen G are looking.
No. The money's just been slipping quite tight for them in terms of them just trying to get that operator. You can see opting even for the Outlaw here, you know, getting that sniper into the hands of at least your Jet player. It's tried and true at this point on Haven. It's got to be a key part of your defensive protocols. But yeah, it's a bit of a bargain bin buy, isn't it? And only the 1/2 armor target of Texture.
Yeah, it's unlikely to find too much success. He's also been running at C.
What is this power thing that's been pinged out by Gen G? It's going all the way through garage and through the back of it. See if they make a go of it. Of course, not running a Killjoy. It's going to be gaps potentially there. We'll see if Sentinels are able to cover it.
Shadows traveling.
Just to look at the other side of the map as well. Recon Dart finally thrown out 20 seconds into the round. Because if you throw it out early, the Viper Wall is really disguising it. Zeken almost caught contact, and Munchkin's lurked his way up again. I'm not sure which one's even going to be the game changer here, A or C.
Oh, TenZ going for the peak as well as Barrels pointing out, trying to bait a shot out. There's no way. There's absolutely no way Munchkin can be blessed like this once more! He's working magic over towards the A site. We're watching a bloody repeat. He's opened it up and calls for the TP, immediate pivot. Caron, he's straight there with him. Turret broken down into mid here, but the A site is theirs. Now with Texture removing John. The mid avenue completely opened up. Uncertainty into the back of Sentinels' minds, but they want to go this one thick and fast. Playing forwards here, at least with the dart in hand, and the rifles are not doing enough. It's Sassy and Zelsis up against the world. They're not being given even an easy fight in the slightest. The movement ajar, forced to save. Zelsis backing away.
And that is a brutal decision for Sentinels. Not one that they could have won at all, but their economy's going to be in a really rough state. Zelsis has got a bit of money, so has John. The rest of the team, dirt poor. Think about the way that Munchkin is getting space down short, right? If Sassy throws a recon dart at the start over towards A lobby, Munchkin's just going to play around his wall, and he's going to dodge it, and you're not going to get any good information. In fact, you might even get bad info and think it's cleared when it's not. So they need a different way of being able to get information there. You're either going to have to re-clear with the Sova drone from short, or you're going to have Zeken fight that. And Sentinels have not chosen either option. For all that they've got the rounds really close here, I think there's a ton of things that Sen could improve on this map if they ended up rematching Gen G later on in the tournament here. Or if they can figure it out mid-game.
Early spam goes either way here. Zeken's dropped down to 48 health. Still ice cold. Watching for any sort of mid presence.
One of those spots where you might want to just give the gun over to, to your teammate. It's rough though, because Zeken really wanted to try to get aggro, but with only 48 health, what can you do?
And already the space is taken up here by Gen G. Another perfect read.
Munchkin's IGL in it is magnificent. I think people maybe didn't credit it as much at the start of the year, but defense side hard reads, attack side he finds the gaps so often.
These lurks on top of it, it's all coming together. This guy is just, he's a beast right now this entire year.
He really has been.
Deep flash, fault line onto Texture, but there's plenty more util where that came from, buckets of it. Paranoia for a Paranoia, just pushing them back and away. Sentinels be lucky to get anything. Still, Charon, drop towards the back. Texture, phantom play! And after 4 beasts, ace stolen away!
Another ace!
Gotta film for him, man. You gotta film for him.
This has been happening in Pacific over and over again. The last ace that Texture got was in April, man. He's had 12 4Ks.
Oh my God.
He's had 12 4Ks since his last ace. Look at him. This one should have been it.
It should have been it.
The drought should have finally ended. He's so funny.
Oh man.
I do love Texture. But can Sentinels find an answer? Now that they've got rifles back in hand, the gap has opened up to 5. It's almost looking insurmountable. It has to be now.
It has to shift now, doesn't it? Updraft, dash, up and over. Flash to follow it up as well. Nobody's in sight lines of Texture. He's given up almost entirely and he's put the squeeze onto the Sentinels player. They heard all that util. They don't know which way to look and they can't even get the kill drips online. Full line, that's a potential team utility to just colliding and clashing into them. Hunter's Fury, it's panicked, it's offloaded. And desperation does not work out for Sentinels, not this time. They did not know how to react to that.
Very nice pathing to bring out in a crucial round, and Texture's looking to close it.
And he's just right in his face. Right click, but followed up by Lakia. That's the 12th round. And Gen G 1 step now. That's all they have to take to lock up this map.
And I think if there was one round you could point to show that divergence of trajectories we were talking about at the start of this cast, where Gen G have just gone from success to success, building on their grand finals appearance at Madrid, compared to Sentinels, who've struggled really to recapture that magic. I think this round would be it. A beautiful call, fantastic pathing, and Sentinels scrambling, their protocols falling to pieces. Second tactical timeout now used by Sen.
Yeah.
It might be too late at this point. Their weaponry is so poor. They've got to try to contest short to make sure that Munchkin doesn't go for the lurks, but then they've also got to be able to defend the C site where they don't have nanoswarms, they don't have the Viper to be able to work down there. They're probably not going to have TenZ hard anchoring that spot. There's just so many questions being thrown at them. They do not have the answers on this side of the map.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Not just the fact that Sentinels have now got to do it with, again, weaker weaponry, not down to half armor, it's Bulldogs, it's Guardians in play, but just the ideas that you were mentioning. You know, they can't contest with Munchkin. He's been able to get free reign over towards A lobby, in through the A site, these lurks and timings he's taking. And it's so hard for Sentinels to even control this one. Typically, you'd want to do it with potentially like a jet op, but they haven't been able to get the money together. And even if they did, there's a Viper wall in their face.
Exactly. Yeah, I must say that as well. Even if Zekken does fight short against that Viper wall, it's really tough.
Yeah. You
have to be very smart, but also very aware that you can have that Viper wall dropped on you at any moment, and Munchkin can threaten a fight. You know, our best duelists in the world can take those fights, and Zekken is capable of doing that kind of stuff. But Sentinels have decided they need him in Garage, maybe to try some kind of early peek.
Yes, this should do.
A lot of players going to be watching though. Gen G. That's Paranoia primed and ready in case there is that early aggression. Contact plays are called. And this is Gen G looking for that closer. No signs over towards Garage. Instead, they set it over towards the B site. Celsius is watching this. Smoke up in his face. Flash up and over, Karen with a TP, and even a committal to the plan, but that's an aftershock to push him back and away. Dash still there, Zekken spots it, here's the one, but nobody's giving him an easy fight. Meteor dashing and backing away, still with his B-side control. Texture, he's got straight past it, and in front of that fault line, still won't survive. He's with the trade there, Flash in and through, over the back, 4v4. Clamp down, Norofef gives him that information, and a sight hold might be exactly what Gen G are looking to cook up. Munchkin still with that orb up in their face. Dart and a Paranoia follows through, flooding back and away. Site players cleared up, rolling thunder, committed now to the front. Sentinels have got to try and strike at least when he irons hard and try and find these kills. There's one, two left to deal with, finding them one after another.
around exactly when they needed it, just as Gen G had got up to map point. We saw the same level of ideas from Gen G there. Going for the B exec, okay, that gets stunted by an aftershock from Zelsis. Let's try to pivot and crunch the player's garage. That also gets shut down by Zelsis. Then the breach ult is online. It's just a massive round from the Vibes Merchant. Selling wins as well here, but he needs to be doing more of it. The whole team needs to be doing more of it. It's not just down to him.
No, I can't really focus on individuals, despite the fact, you know, Zekken is sitting at the bottom of the scoreboard. It's been a while since he's even got a kill. It's more just the ideas going to miss. Come to offer any sort of bailout.
At the same time, you do want to be putting your duelist in a position to influence the round, right? And so the fact that we haven't really seen Zekken in those spots is a bit concerning. You know, again here, he's looking to try to find fights over towards B, and Gen G are heading in a different direction.
Trailblazer is never getting broken. It's just being given free reign to clear the way. Space for Gen G.
I think you're worried in that kind of spot if you break the Trailblazer. The texture's right behind it.
And that's an interesting peek. Still Zekken makes the adjustment.
There's the
value. To the
value.
cranium, and there is the value. It had to come about through that sheer mechanical skill.
Here comes Munchkin. He's trying one of these classic A-lurks. TenZ has been watching for it. He refuses to get duped again.
But there's a chance for the timings to be missed here. And which way is he going to look? Adjustment again. Mirrored plays from TenZ and Zekken. Pushes Gen G back. It's just lurks and lurks. Yeah.
It's the same again. Lurk up A and lurk up C at the same time. One gets broken, the other doesn't.
Yeah. Trip broken. Meteor, he's got an open side for them.
30 seconds left.
A 3v5 though, Brent. They're not going to close out the map here, surely.
But it's Gen G. You never know with this team. They really shouldn't.
Full breach utility for Zelsis. Sassy's going to have Recon coming back online, but you probably don't want to wait for it.
And there's the first Shocky. Preemptive, at least for the debt, so one of the Nana Swarms is off. Meteor finds it, still traded. Charon, that's a sweep from behind here now. The backstab, but maybe just pushing back in the way. Lakia needs support and he needs help if this is even going to be doable. Flash in through the box, smoke is up in his face. The tap in his way, that's a bit of spam to follow up. Charon, and now a lot more to do. Spike being defused, stuck fully, and TenZ there to defend him. Sentinels are still alive in this map. They're not going to be going down one map just yet.
6 chances for Gen G to close, now down to 4. The Sentinels pick up 2 retakes, both times happy to allow Gen G to get into the site, but then making sure that they deal with any extraneous threats. I mean, in this situation, they had a big player advantage too. It was a nice shot from Zekken. He's going to now pick up the Operator heading into round 21. This is, I think, the first time that we've seen him with an op in hand, right?
Yeah.
He had 2 Outlaws earlier.
It's definitely been rough for them to salvage that money together, but he's found many targets. Still a smoke in his face. We'll push him back. Going to be given that early sight line. Texture's even watching just in case he is updraft up onto the box. They don't like what they see. And they got to know that the money is available for that Operator. It should be at the back of their minds as long as they're looking at the scoreboard.
That flash, down A short, and now the Trailblazer indicating that Munchkin did not find an early timing. Sentinels were not sure, but now they should have a good idea that this is actually the pack of Gen G.
How do you anchor it? Locked down, it's unconventional. Doesn't really stretch all the way out towards this A side. Sassy, drone, spots it. They're wondering if this is potentially fake pressure. TenZ overstaying it, just about escaping. 50 HP though, and now it's being fully committed. The molly at their feet as well. They are separating these players, picking them apart. Nobody is allowed to anger this site. The setup and execute, the pin drop down, man. And TenZ has got to make a play. He's already found it, whipping it around. Meteor, rifle in hand, leaving it to the 2. And only the Blade Storm. A rifle for John QT. They're going to need to be handed a couple of easy kills, but Meteor will not give them anything at all. A 4K to finish up the map. Haven is theirs.
Sentinels with a map pick that I think made some degree of sense. They had the VOD advantage, the tape advantage.